One was only 32 when a mid-air helicopter collision ended his life without warning. Another had spent more than 7 decades recording thousands of songs. And one of rock's founding legends died only 10 days into the new year. Between January and July 2026, music lost voices that had shaped rock, salsa, country, Bollywood, pop, and hip-hop. We'll move through the year month by month before returning at the end to the sudden tragedy that stunned fans around the world. The year's first major musical loss came only 10 days into January. Bob Weir. On January 10, fans of the Grateful Dead received devastating news. Bob Weir, founding guitarist and vocalist of the band, had died at 78. He joined the group as a teenager in 1965, becoming the little brother alongside fellow guitarist Jerry Garcia. For 3 decades, he helped define an entire era of American rock, touring relentlessly and building one of the most devoted fan bases in music history. After being diagnosed with cancer in 2025, Weir ultimately succumbed to underlying lung issues. He leaves behind 6 decades of music that helped shape the very identity of American rock and roll. Did the Grateful Dead's music soundtrack a moment in your life? Let us know in the comments. Willie Colon. On February 21, salsa music mourned one of its most important figures. Willie Colon, the Nuyorican trombonist and band leader who helped shape the sound of salsa in the 1970s, died at 75. Colon's innovative fusion of Puerto Rican rhythms with jazz and funk influences made him one of the genre's most influential architects, and his decades-long collaboration with singer Hector Lavoe produced some of salsa's most iconic recordings, across a catalog that sold more than 30 million records. While we grieve his absence, we also rejoice in the timeless gift of his music, his family said in a statement. He leaves behind a legacy that helped define an entire genre. Neil Sedaka. Just 6 days later, on February 27, the world lost one of pop music's most enduring songwriters. Neil Sedaka, the voice behind hits like Breaking Up Is Hard to Do, died at 86. His passing was sudden, according to his family. He had visited his favorite restaurant only the day before, showing no obvious signs that the end was so near. Across a career spanning more than 7 decades, Sedaka wrote and performed songs that became the soundtrack of generations, blending doo-wop, pop, and soft rock into some of the most recognizable melodies of the 20th century. He leaves behind a catalog that continues to be covered and cherished by music lovers worldwide. Asha Bhosle. On April 12, one of the most influential voices in the history of Indian cinema fell silent. Asha Bhosle, the legendary Bollywood playback singer, died in Mumbai at 92. She died after being hospitalized with a serious chest infection and exhaustion, which reportedly led to multiple organ failure. Over a career spanning nearly 8 decades, Bhosle recorded around 12,000 songs across multiple Indian languages, becoming one of the most recorded artists in history. Her death drew tributes from across the world, including India's Prime Minister, who called her loss irreparable. She leaves behind a musical legacy that defined the sound of Bollywood cinema for generations. Dave Mason. 1 week later, on April 19, rock lost one of its quiet architects. Dave Mason, co-founder of the band Traffic and writer of the classic Feelin' All Right, died peacefully in his sleep at home at 79. Beyond Traffic, Mason built a respected solo career and played alongside some of the biggest names in rock history, including Jimi Hendrix, George Harrison, and the Rolling Stones. He leaves behind decades of songwriting that quietly shaped the sound of classic rock. If these stories are helping you remember the artists who shaped music history, subscribe. We come back every month to honor the voices we've lost. David Allan Coe. 10 days later, on April 29, country music said goodbye to one of its most complicated figures. David Allan Coe died at 86, after building a career that was as controversial as it was influential. Having spent much of his youth in reform schools and prison, Co arrived in Nashville with an outlaw image that was more than just a marketing invention. Songs like You Never Even Called Me by My Name and The Ride made him a defining voice of outlaw country, while some of his own recordings and public provocations left behind a legacy that remains deeply divisive to this day. Rob Base. On May 22, just 4 days after celebrating his 59th birthday, Rob Base passed away surrounded by family after a private battle with cancer. As one half of Rob Base and DJ Easy Rock, he co-created It Takes Two, a track that became a permanent fixture at parties and sporting events. Sampled across decades of hip-hop and dance music, its refrain still instantly recognizable today. He leaves behind a song that, decades later, still fills dance floors around the world. David Clayton Thomas. On June 24, one of classic rock's most powerful voices went silent. David Clayton Thomas, lead singer of Blood, Sweat and Tears, died at 84 in a Toronto hospital. Born in England and raised in Toronto after a difficult, troubled childhood that included time in jail, Clayton Thomas found his path to music through a guitar left behind in a cell. He joined Blood, Sweat and Tears in 1968, and his voice powered 3 songs to no 2 on the Billboard charts in a single year: Spinning Wheel and When I Die, and You've Made Me So Very Happy, helping the band's self-titled album beat out the Beatles' Abbey Road for the Grammy for Album of the Year. He leaves behind a voice that helped define the sound of jazz rock in the late 1960s and early 70s. Bonnie Tyler. On July 8, the world lost the unmistakable voice behind Total Eclipse of the Heart and Holding Out for a Hero. Bonnie Tyler died at 75 near Faro, Portugal, after complications following emergency intestinal surgery. Across a career spanning 5 decades, Tyler's raspy, powerful voice made her one of the most distinctive artists in pop and rock history, a voice millions of fans never expected to fall silent this year. But the final story on this list is different from all the others. There was no long farewell, no public battle with illness, and no chance for fans to prepare. Oliver Tree. On the 14th of June, 2026, 2 helicopters collided in the sky above Rio de Janeiro, and among the 6 people who never came home was a 32-year-old artist at the height of his career. Oliver Tree, the California-born singer known for his viral hit Life Goes On, and his unmistakable bowl-cut style, was in the middle of what he'd called the biggest tour of his life. Tributes poured in from across the music world, from fellow artists to fans who'd followed his career from its earliest, strangest beginnings. He leaves behind a career built on creativity and reinvention, cut tragically short at the height of his career. Their voices may have fallen silent, but the songs they left behind will continue to play wherever memories are kept alive. Which of these musicians meant the most to you? Tell us in the comments, and share this video to honor their memory.